This is the last line we're going to investigate in this code example. We've covered everything else. So in terms of plotting, there is nothing new, but in terms of a NumPy array, we have something new here. So our data is our NumPy array with our audio data. And here we are putting these brackets, and then we have this 0 to 110. So let's make it an array. So it will be a NumPy array, and I want with the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I will not start in 0. I just want 1 to 5. So this is an array. We've seen how to create arrays before, and we know that this array has a certain number of elements. So we have 5 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So suppose we want to access a specific element inside this array. So there must be a way how we, for example, we just want to get this number 3 here. What do we do? So we can use something which is called array indexing. So we can access array elements. So array indexing is the same as accessing an array element. So you can access an array element by referring to its index number. And the index in NumPy arrays starts at 0, meaning that the first element has index 0 and the second has index 1. So this is very common in Python, that we start counting things from 0. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So just have in mind that when we want the first element, it is with index 0. So if we put here index 0, we have the element 1. One special case is, imagine you want to get the last element, but you don't want to know exactly what's the index of this element. You just want to get the last one. So you could use the -1. It will give you, let's say like this. So if it's here 0, so -1 would kind of rotate here and go here. So you get the last element. And the same works if you use -2. So this is 0, -1, -2, and then we have 4, and so on and so forth. So this is very useful. Sometimes you have an array that is changing sizes. For example, you're removing elements or you're adding elements, but you want to access the last element or something that is related to, you want to get the last element or the 3 elements before the last element. So you can use this negative indexing to access some values. But there is more. Imagine that we're not interested only in accessing a single element, but some elements, kind of a group of elements. So we just want to have the first 3 elements, or the last 3, or the middle 3, or the middle 2. So there must be a way how to access this group of elements, and this is the slicing arrays. So slicing in Python means taking elements from one given index to another given index, and we pass the slice using the start, 2 dots, end, and we can also have an optional step. So if we will not pass a start, it will consider 0. If we don't pass the end, it will consider the length of the array, and if we don't pass the step, it will consider that step is 1. So if I want to take the elements 2, 3, and 4, so I have here, this is 0, this is 1, so I will start at 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3. But this is the tricky part. The end, if I was 0, 1, 2, 3, I'm getting just the 2 and the 3, because the end is not included when we define the end here. If we want to get the 0, 1, 2, and 3, we need to pass 4, because then it gets 3 elements here. So the result includes the start index, but it excludes the end index. So this is what we are doing here. And we could also use negative slicing. So I want to take the last 2 elements, but then I need to give it this step of negative. So I'm going to the -1 until the 4 using negative index. So let's use, now we want just to have the elements 0, 3, and 5. So we'll start from the beginning, so I don't need to put here. I will go until the end, but I have step of 2. So it gets the first one, it skips this one, it gets this one, skips this one, and it gets this one. If we go of -2, it will start here, skip this, start here, and then give this. So you can use the step, negative steps, positive steps. You can define the start and the end. So this would be equivalent to 0 to -1 with step of 2. Then we'll have 1 and 3. In this case, this is not including the last element, and if we use this, it is including the last element. Another thing what we can do is that we can define some indexes. So I want to do 0, 2, and 3. So it would be 1, 3, and 5, and then I have an array, and I give it the indexes as an index. So 0, 2, and 3. 0, 1, 2, and 3. So I could put this 1 here, and now 0, 1, and 3. So 1, 2, 4. So you can also define certain indexes and pass it like this. So we've seen how to use indexing and slicing of arrays, and this is exactly what we're having here. So our data has 48,000 values, but we're just taking the values from 0 until the value 109. So data 109 would be this -172. If we take the last element of this slice, it's 172. So we're taking a slice with the 110 first elements from 0 to index 109. And this is the last line that we were investigating for this code example number 2. We will use a lot of arrays indexing and slicing. We will go back to plot, so don't worry. Next example we will come up with another interesting things in the world of basics of digital audio signal processing and machine learning for audio using Python. Thank you very much, and I see you another time.